Hello, I'm Stephen Englander. Thank you for joining me on my show tonight for Between the Spreadsheets. Now, usually we would be talking about businessy things and how the events of the world are affecting how we do business and what we should be doing. And I'm still going to make the odd little comment about that tonight, but I think in the situation with Russia and the Ukraine, I think maybe we should have a chat about what's going on in the world. Now, I'm not the most political person on the planet, and my knowledge of political affairs and why people invade countries and why they don't and what goes on in the spying world and the military world is a bit lost on me because I've spent my life as an accountant in business. I can tell you a little about the effect of the Russian invasion of the Ukraine on how it's affecting the stock market. And as we've got some clients pushing towards floating at the moment, we might have to delay things for that. But it definitely has an effect on the stock markets. Most of us don't deal in the stock markets, and most of us won't be too bothered that, maybe we should be investing money in gold because when there's a crisis, gold tends to go up. Can we trust the banks? I mean, the banks at the moment are getting a bit worried about potential sabotage. So keep an eye on your monies and don't do anything silly and be wary of any emails you get or transactions that don't quite look right. Do be aware. Just keep alert. I mean, I don't think they're going to invade the UK just at the moment. However, luckily tonight I've got Hayden with me. Hayden Hewitt. He's because he's a professional broadcaster and he tends to host shows about current affairs. He's quite well up on the news, and he has some insight, especially as he's given talks. Did he give a talk at NATO?
I was invited. Yeah, I was on NATO TV.
Yeah. So we're lucky to have Hayden tonight. So I'll ask Hayden some questions, and it can make me look cleverer because he'll give me answers.
Before I start making you look clever, it's not the Ukraine. It's just
it's Ukraine, isn't it? Because Ukraine means the crane. Yeah.
The crane. Is that what it means? Yeah.
No, something like that. I know that because my stepmother's from the Ukraine. I mean, I suggested she go back over and help, but she's not doing.
Well, apparently, Ukrainians in the UK have said they will return home and take up arms in protection of the.
Well, this is what I've been getting all day when I've been speaking to clients and people I know that are from that part of the world and have family and even some Russian people and they've. One of the questions I've been asking is that I don't understand what the invasion's about. Why does Putin want that part of the world anyway? I don't understand it because my sort of model of if you want. In my boardroom, I've got a sign that says it's got a picture of the planet, and it says that worldwide domination starts here. But I'm looking at that. Hayden's laughing because when I had it printed, I put world domination. I've sort of scrubbed one of the worlds
worldwide.
out. Yeah, with a black felt tip. But it looks good now. But my idea of worldwide domination starts in the boardroom, not invading countries, but in sort of setting up businesses and doing stuff like that. I mean, like China are doing with TikTok.
Can I put it in perspective to you?
Yeah.
A hostile takeover of a company.
Yes.
That's done to empower the first companies, enrich it to some degree, or to take out a competitor or things like that. This is just like that.
Well, it's not because there's a process and everybody gets warnings.
There's a process to what he's doing, and the warning was,
but it's killing people and hurting and destroying.
Well, so does hostile business.
I mean, I was talking to staff before, and we were thinking, let's go and get armed up and take over, go and invade Price Waterhouse. Accounts Direct, invade Price Waterhouse.
Was it Monty Python's Meaning of Life that had the
the chartered accountants?
Yes, the office buildings sailing around.
Well, that's it. But there's so many ways of expanding through business, and I don't understand what's the to gain with Ukraine.
If you've got an army, it's a shame not to use it, right?
Well, yeah, and you've got that thing about energy at the moment because that's going to be our first main crisis, isn't it? Like the more expensive energy.
Well, I mean, what is it? Some 30% of our.
Well, I think 5% comes directly from Russia, and another 30% comes from Russia's supply of European countries.
Yeah, well, that's going to get more expensive.
Well, yeah.
We're already facing a 50% increase in energy costs.
But at least we might have America to fleece us with
charge
energy
us
prices.
3 times what it's worth in the tradition of America helping us out.
So what contingency does the UK have
None.
in this event?
None.
No.
Boris Johnson seems to think we do, but he's keeping it to himself as to what that is just now.
So what do people do? Get ready for higher fuel costs.
I think a lot of people are going to, in truth, all joking aside, I think a lot of people are going to experience a great deal of poverty and death.
Right.
Not in the hundreds of thousands, but it's certainly going to be more than.
Yeah.
I mean, none is in this day and age. Nobody should.
I suppose it depends how long this conflict goes on for, and whether we can get shale and North Sea gas production up and running.
That's the first thing we should be doing. Drop all the green crap for now.
Yeah.
Come back to it when things.
Yeah, I mean, it's great being green, but if we're facing life-threatening problems,
exactly, we got to save lives now, and if the way to do that is causing earthquakes in Blackpool and poisoning the drinking water of Preston, I think it's a small price to pay to keep my electric bills down.
There's a lot of I know in and around Manchester and in surrounding areas, there was very big industries in the cotton mills, and we can always make a few blankets.
Yeah, I think most of those cotton mills are either demolished or apartments.
We can still make them. I mean, surely we can be selling a lot more.
I think the best thing we can do is become a little more energy independent.
Yeah, a bit more efficient, a bit more
sensible.
sensible.
We're going to have to take. The government's got to do something, because this is going to get very expensive very quickly.
Yeah.
I think they have to take that green tax off fuel, because that's what is it, something like nearly 30%. That has to go, even if it's just in the short term. That has to go, because we can't. If energy costs, have gone up 50%, we can't afford another 30-40%.
But I don't understand why we've not already geared up for this. I mean, it's not like we didn't know that at some point we were going to have problems with Russia and supplies of energy, and even with the OPEC countries have problems.
It's like everything else, isn't it?
We're not facing that. If it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would ever get done.
We know that there's at least 1 week, possibly 2 a year, that are unbearably hot for the way that we build houses and we prepare for it. But none of us buy air conditioning.
No.
And during that week, we don't want to, because they're all sold out at double the price.
Yeah.
And we do it year in.
It's a rip-off type mentality, isn't it?
We do it year in, year out. We just think, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, this is horrible.
And we're still here, so we are.
Yeah. So, but things are going to get a little bit bumpy. I don't think there's any way around that.
And I think sometimes, I mean, obviously I deal with a lot of people all the time, and I think I'm just going back to a business, to the business side for a minute. A lot of people, a lot of business, it is a struggle, and every day you're coming in and you're fighting new problems. You know, it's like a battlefield sometimes, but it takes a lot of energy to keep going, and a lot of the time that energy comes from an optimism that you're seeking, you're aiming, you've got a particular goal in mind, and that goal is worth pursuing it all. And I think when we're here, we've got COVID, and we've got Russia invading, and we've got fuel shortages, and we've got...
Well, we've not got COVID anymore. Not as of today.
Okay.
It's finished now.
But we've gone through it, and it's left us a bit tired.
We've done away with it.
I think we need to put things in perspective. I mean, do you remember when COVID first struck, and you had all the Russian battleships sniffing around the UK and testing whether we were still active?
Of course.
Do you remember?
They do that anyway. That's
all this goes on all the time.
Yeah, well, look at the Ukraine. Look at the situation in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And people are saying, well, it's because it's the US's fault because they helped put this puppet government in 8 years ago. But then 10 years ago, it was Putin's fault for doing that. But these things go on constantly. It's a little push me, pull you. Yeah. And it never stops. And every once in a while, it has to blow up a little bit.
Yeah. And I think people should... I think we need to put things in perspective. So I think, yes, the energy will go up a lot. Well, even if it doubles, even if it triples, we've got to get our prices right. You know, if there's a shortage of one type of matchstick, then look for another matchstick, or look for something that can be used instead of matchsticks. It's all a case now of just putting things in perspective, dealing with clients on a one-to-one, working out what it is that you need in your business, and tailor the business accordingly. So if you want an income of, say, £50,000 a year, and you make £10 on every product you sell, so now you've got a formula of how many products you need to sell, and And now, do you know what one of the biggest problems I've got with a lot of clients, people in general, when we're trying to put a strategy and a business development plan together? Do you know what it is, Hayden?
Go on.
It's that people aren't listening. People don't tend to do something until the pain of where they are is greater than the pain of moving.
Yeah.
So this is what will happen. We're faced with some sort of problem, and we will jump and deal with it. And I think this is where we're going. I think really what's at the back of everyone's minds, or certainly people I'm talking to, is this going to lead to World War III?
No.
That's well, we're all they have to do is accidentally attack one of the surrounding NATO countries of Ukraine.
I don't think that. I think he would have to step foot in one, and there's a big difference between a stray bomb and actually if he stepped foot on NATO soil, then I think there would be at least an escalation. This could be a comment here actually from Duke Bratsy. Hello, Duke. How you doing,
Hello,
fella? He says he sold all these stocks this morning, but now he kind of wants to do the Big Short. Is that maybe good?
Oh, I don't know.
We don't do financial advice on
and I'm
show.
not that au fait with the stock market of how individual shares. What I do know is when people panic, they tend to put money into gold or dollars. So they tend to put money into something more of substance. I mean, the UK banking system is still very strong. That even though it feels it isn't sometimes, England's still quite a strong country, and I think the stock market will take a bit of a hit, but it will come back up.
Canned food and shotguns.
Canned food, and well, who are you going to shoot?
Well, there's going to be a nuclear war, Stephen. Then you've got a post-apocalyptic world.
What are you going to do with shotguns?
It would appear a shotgun's very handy when dealing with mutants trying to steal your gasoline.
But you need tin openers, don't you?
He has that because he eats dog food. See, I just watch Mad Max. You'll understand everything.
No, I used to. I watched the old ones when it was properly Mad
the old
Max.
Ones, with Mel Gibson, of course.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to go there. I think there's too much to lose. I mean, I think of the world now not like it was in the 40s and the 30s, where it was very geographically based and there was a lot of managing and having land. I see it as corporations and computers and infrastructure and the SWIFT banking system, of which I think we're cutting Russia off from.
The EU's dragging its heels a little bit on that.
The what, sorry?
The European Union is
well, they want a bit
heels.
more Russian money back in.
Yeah, they're also terrified
society.
of Russia turning the gas off.
Well, yeah, but yeah. But there's what I think they're doing is good in ways. It depends how strong they actually are, how strong Putin actually is.
What everyone needs to do is paint the inside of the windows white, build a bomb shelter out of doors.
That's not very encouraging.
Choose which of your neighbours you're going to eat when the dust has settled.
I don't like the look of my neighbours. So
I picked mine already. I picked which ones.
I'll come round to your house for tea.
One of them is very muscly. There's going to be some good eating on him.
Is he going to be kosher?
Well, no, because I'm probably going to have to beat him to death. But I'll say a little prayer if you like.
You know these sanctions of stopping Russia from accessing their assets.
Yes.
Is the goal there to sort of alienate Putin from his best pals?
Absolutely.
Because
that's what we'd like to see.
Yeah, because I think that's probably better than hitting at him, because when you've got your best pals who are relying on you for money and privilege and everything else, and all of a sudden you're the person stopping them from eating out in a nice Parisian coffee shop and accessing their billions of dollars and using their lovely penthouse in London, they might not like him much anymore after that.
That's got to be. You can't attack him directly. Yeah. He's already a very intelligent and very dangerous man. Yeah. But if you erode his support, it's like I was saying earlier, when you're knocking a building down, you don't
it's his strategy as well, because he's been he talks about judo a lot, doesn't he? And I when I was younger, I used to do a bit of judo, and it was about balance, and it was about using opponents' weight against them. So even if someone was a lot bigger than you, if you put yourself in the right position, they'll go falling over you. So I suppose using that judo mentality.
And he's quite lucky though, Stephen.
Yeah.
Because he is facing a US leader that doesn't remember whether he's put his pants on in the morning or not.
Are you saying bring back Trump?
Do you know, we were saying this before, how strange is the world when people are going, I miss Donald Trump? Because I don't know that this would have happened if he was in power. Now, whether that's because he's a great negotiator, or just because Putin recognizes
A kindred soul, yeah.
a deeply unstable human being.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, when the most powerful nation on earth elects a senile man to be its
Well, he's got
leader-
his little helper, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, but she's a nightmare.
Why is she a nightmare?
She's awful. She's a shockingly poor human being.
Why?
She goes on about equal rights and civil rights. She loves putting black people in prison. She's one of those. She's a horrible person, make no mistake. And you got Joe Biden, who, quite frankly, I don't know.
He looks like one of the lizard people, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. But what he mostly looks like to me is a very confused old man. And no matter what a terrible human being he's been in his life, and make no mistake, he's a career politician. You know, he's been all up for wars and locking people up at borders and all that stuff, and he's just awful.
Just coming back to Russia and Kiev, I was going to make a joke. I was going to sort of say, like, if Kiev falls, does that mean it won't taste the same? So they'll use something, because I quite like the garlic in the
I
chicken.
told you they don't really eat chicken. Kiev's in Kiev.
No. Okay, so that's one less worry for me.
No,
but
Bernard Matthews will still continue to
that's
manufacture
okay. That's all right.
chicken Kievs, yes.
But what I was going to say with after speaking to some Ukrainians, they're worried sick. They've got family, they've got Russians, they've got on both sides.
Well, they've just taken Pripyat, haven't they?
Yeah.
Chernobyl.
Oh yeah.
We were just told.
He's got a load of nuclear waste there to
there's a
build.
lady here that's,
What would he
families
do with
Ukraine.
that anyway? Why was
Nothing.
he so?
I think that's a concern. I know she was saying, "Oh, we'll have nuclear material," but Russia have got plenty of nuclear material.
Yeah, but why did they want that so badly?
I think
Because is it just mostly waste, or is there more going on there?
no, it's just waste. It's a
So is
damaged
what's he
hellhole.
doing? Just making a power play and
I
saying,
think it's
"I've
just
got
on the way
Chernobyl
to
now."
where he's going, mate. It's just on the way.
It's just on the way, and it's something that
Yes.
people know about. I don't understand what he's doing. I started off by saying that I don't really understand much about the politics of this, and now I'm going to prove it. What's he doing, Hayden? Why is he doing this?
Gosh, where do you start? I mean, a very simplistic explanation is he doesn't want NATO or the US on his doorstep.
Yeah,
You know, any more than Poland wants him on theirs.
yeah.
And so the sensible option would have been not to interfere too much in Ukraine by either side and let them continue being an independent sovereign nation. But that's never enough, because you've got to win. You've got to win. Now, winning in this case isn't winning a war. I don't foresee a full-blown war here. I do foresee, though, with looking at the state of our leaders, he's going to come out of this one ahead.
Well, do you remember we said the other week that he's going to have Boris is going to have some sort of war going on to sidestep away from the parties.
Oh, well, he's got a real Churchill complex, Boris, hasn't he? That's his hero. So perhaps he's hoping to emulate that.
Yeah, take us away from the brink of World War III.
Or headlong into
Do you think
it.
it'll get there? Do you
No,
think?
not at all.
Because I know that. I mean, America alone, the US alone, are just probably more powerful than the whole world put together.
In an all-out war, which America's never partaken in,
Yeah.
really, they've never won a war on their own.
Yeah,
However, there's no getting past it. If the will was there, there's not a single nation on earth that can stand up to them conventionally.
and in fact, the sort of NATO countries are a lot more powerful
course
than,
they are,
than
but
the rest of them.
Putin has already said that, though. For all the people cheerleading him on the internet right now, saying how powerful they are,
Yeah.
the Russian bogeyman Rumsfeld himself admitted they exaggerated that greatly during the Reagan years, because it was a handy bogeyman to have.
I mean, CIA.
Well, whoever, you know,
Yeah.
they exaggerated the power of Russia greatly. Putin himself has said, look, you know, obviously we can't win a war against all of NATO, but I will not tolerate a world without Russia.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that'd
if
be
you take
nuclear
us, we're going to
weapons.
take some of you.
We're
with
going to
us.
take all of you with us. I mean, Russia has more nuclear capabilities than any other nation, allegedly, on Earth.
Yeah. Still, all this makes you nervous, doesn't it? It's sort of.
I remember the 80s. This is nothing yet.
And I didn't really notice the 80s that much because I was busy.
I remember as a kid, that's all I used to hear.
I'm older than you, so I remember as an adult. So
Yeah.
to me, it was more important to be selling stuff and building up my practice. You were mentioning, because you've always been a big fan of assassinations, haven't you? Not just world despots and
it seems
tyrants.
Like, it seems like we were discussing how it could be done. You either erode
So who
his
do you think
base-
would get to him?
Well, this is the
Who do you
question,
think would
isn't
get
it?
to
I
it?
don't think it'd be Israel because I don't think they've got anything to particularly
Yeah,
gain
but how
directly.
could you tell who got to him?
Oh, well, very
if I-
easily. If he drowns in the bath, it was the British. If he has a suspicious heart attack, that is also us.
Right.
If he dies of lead poisoning in the head area, it's Israel.
Yeah.
If 2 helicopters crash and 14 soldiers are left behind, it's definitely America.
You're very cynical, aren't you?
I've just seen it all before.
Yeah. So, I made some notes here.
Oh, good. About time I referred to them, isn't it?
And it's things I've said. I don't understand his power, why he wants the power. I just don't get it.
Power corrupts. No, absolutely.
He's already corrupt. It seems to be he's corrupt and wants power.
He wants more power.
He was a gangster, wasn't he?
No, he was in the KGB.
Is that not the same thing?
That's an official gangster. It's very different.
Oh, okay.
I don't underestimate the guy, okay? I mean,
he's no fool.
He's got some
Definitely
religious
no fool.
issues.
What religious issues does he
Well,
have?
I'm pretty sure. Well, again, how much is true, how much isn't?
Yeah.
But he thinks this is his God-given purpose, and kind of making Russia the new Constantinople kind of affair. But I don't know about
Rewrite
that.
the Bible sort of thing.
But the fact is, it's a story as old as man. You want to be the biggest chief.
I just, to me, nice car, nice house, odd holiday, peaceful existence. I don't understand this need for power. I just don't even want it. I mean, I don't even like being in charge most of the time. I just rather things just work smoothly and we can discuss things over a cup of tea. I don't know. I don't understand.
I imagine you're a very different man to Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'd like to think so. Is there anything we do have in common? I mean, he's bald.
No, he's not.
Is he not bald?
No.
He's nearly bald.
That was like Khrushchev, like 60 years ago or something.
Is that not the same person?
No, they've had a couple since then. Yeah.
He has a nice car. He's got an Auris Senat limousine, which apparently he can go underwater with, and it'll still be protected from the bullets.
I bet he's like one of those South American drug lords.
What's the Mercedes-Benz S600 Guard Pullman?
I've got no idea.
It sounds very expensive. I think his cars are
I'm
around
sure it's very
£250,000 cars.
Oh, that's a drop in the ocean for a man that's allegedly worth over 200 billion.
Didn't he have that very big boat as well? That was about
He's got a very big castle. It came
200
out
million.
recently as well.
Unbelievable. And this is all money taken from...
It pays well being a politician, doesn't it?
How do we do it?
How do you become a dictator of a large country?
Well, I'd be a benevolent dictator.
Well, they all start off that way, don't they? Oh, it'll be for the good of the people. Next thing you know, mountain of skulls, fiery death.
I wouldn't want to hurt anybody. I just like the idea of a nice car and not having to worry about making a living.
You end up, someone says, "Oh, we could do with getting rid of that one. He's a bad man." And I think it's like
I think like that anyway.
Yeah, but it's like Pringles.
No,
isn't it?
I think.
You've done it,
how do I get rid of someone and without getting caught? Sorry,
See,
Tony, I wasn't talking about you
that.
again.
He doesn't have to worry about that. That's the position he's in. Just get rid of him. Just get rid of him.
Coming back away from the brink of disaster.
Yes.
And even if we did get rid of Putin, we don't know what would replace him. This is always the problem with
also, do you
despots.
know, to avoid panic, always remember that the generals from all those countries, they have back channel communications.
Yeah,
they're not going to sleepwalk.
It's not just his decision.
No,
he might want it to be, but
the
it's
generals probably wouldn't go along with anything else. So it's never cut and dry. Everyone wants to make it black and white, nice and easy, good guys and bad guys.
And on the other hand, he might want to encourage more concessions from the West,
which is a great way of doing it.
Yeah, well, it's worked in the past with other countries.
Absolutely.
Just blow up a bit and not too much to show that he's serious, and then get some concessions.
What will be interesting is to see if China makes a move on Taiwan now.
Taiwan, yes, because
they've had their eye on that for a long
time. China doesn't seem to be as big a worry because they're so money conscious and business conscious.
I'm far more worried about China than I am Russia.
Why?
I worry about China's influence on economic education and everything else.
You worry about their influence rather than direct attack. Yes,
because I'm not particularly worried about a nuclear war with Russia, but I do worry greatly about China's influence over everything, and the things that they promote via their platforms that they would not tolerate.
Like
in our
TikTok.
country. Yeah. Everything.
Get everybody addicted to watching little doggies
And have
dancing.
algorithms that feed people stuff that perhaps
Do you know
not
what? I'm
healthy.
not surprised at that. TikTok hasn't generated more products. Not just pictures and but maybe some games of some of the characters, because some of them are quite funny. Have a look at TikTok. See if there's some of these funny dogs and cats that you can make a teddy bear out of or something, or a cushion, or pictures and stuff like that.
I don't like TikTok.
I do.
I don't like it.
But Putin's one thing. But we were watching. I was watching Coming Away. I was watching the Queen the other day, suffering through COVID.
Yeah, it's a tough one with the Queen. It's difficult because on the one hand,
An old lady
she's
suffering.
clearly a lizard person.
Yes.
And not a great human being. I mean, anyone that thinks they're born into being better than other people is not a great human being.
Really? I thought I was quite nice.
There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
But on the other hand, it's someone else poorly. It's an old lady that's poorly. So no matter anything else,
Yeah.
I can't help the way I'm wired.
Yeah.
And even if she is part of a horrible system I disagree with every fibre of my being,
Yeah.
I still don't wish an
So you're not a
old lady dead.
royalist?
I'm a long way from a royalist.
And soon to be, or maybe eventually to be, King Charles and
Can't
Queen
wait.
Camilla.
The only good thing about him is he's going to decimate the
Royal family, yeah. Which should put some more money in society. How much are they worth? About $500 million or 50 billion or something like that?
Do you know what they are? They're a burden. I don't.
Well, yeah. A lot of people say that they have a net value because they bring X amount of money into the country because of tourism. So people come to see the Queen. But as you pointed out, and you are right, they don't come to see the Queen. They can just come to see the buildings.
Well, they don't come to see. Who gets to see the Queen very often?
Well, exactly. But
You
you
hang
can
around outside
Yeah.
Buckingham Palace. Most of the tourists don't know whether she's there or not.
No.
But they all hang around.
And a lot of them just want to flash at the guards, don't they?
But Paris is. I mean, France rather has done okay with just buildings and no
Yeah.
royalty. I'm not suggesting we adopt their method of disposing with the monarchy, but certainly I think I just. I hate
Well, it's just that
driven
argument
system.
that there's a positive net income
There's no
coming to the
positive
country
benefit.
because
Look
of
at
them.
the state
But there's
of them.
not.
One of her sons is Charles is useless. Her other son, allegedly a nonce. Prince Edward's failed at everything he's ever done.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in them. I don't see the value. It's not like the old days where they had to.
Well,
they don't pick up the sword and head out there anymore.
No,
do they?
but we've also got lots of programs on. I mean, in years ago when I watched these things, we had Dallas. Do you remember Dallas? They were like our royalty, but they're Americans, so they can't really. be.
Americans have their own royalty.
Yeah.
They create
TV
their own.
stars,
but also
the Kardashians.
apparently they seem to really love the royal family, which is strange.
Yeah, but if they had a net result, I mean, half of them are going to live out there at some point anyway, and probably already have assets elsewhere. But
Currently looking at how to get out of a contract with Spotify, I expect.
yes,
That's not going terribly well, is it?
No.
way, shame.
Another 12 million.
Yeah, but what is it? They delivered one episode.
Fantastic.
And they're all having a pop at Joe Rogan, who delivers one every day.
And makes an absolute fortune.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And he's actually quite funny to listen
do
to.
you know what? Joe Rogan's brilliant. Everyone's going on about COVID this, COVID that. It's not what he predominantly talks about at all. And also, he's made everyone painfully clear. He's a comedian, fight commentator, and someone that's interested in what's happening.
And making his own comments. But
And he has great guests.
we're coming up to this very fast, interesting show, where it's single topic, sort of. So I'll end on COVID loan fraud, because the government are now saying, the UK watchdogs are now saying that the government failed to prevent COVID fraud, and I'm seeing a little bit more of people struggling now, paying back the bounce back loans, and the banks are coming on harder and pushing for the government to recover these funds for them, and it's not a great situation. I mean, I know when they came out, I tried to say to people, I know you need it, but it is a loan. It's not a grant, and if it's a loan to help the business through, and so many people have taken money. And I mean, what do you do if you're struggling? You've got an uncertain future, and everything's closed, and there's disease everywhere, and you're offered tens of thousands of pounds, and you're going to live on it, aren't you?
Of course.
I'm not talking about the people who've deliberately taken the loans and spent them, thinking
No,
they
the
go
ones that
into
found
liquidation.
themselves with nothing.
But so I just want to say, if everyone thinks they're in trouble with a bounce back loan, whether the clients or not, you can contact me and I'll have a look at your situation and see the best way out of it. And on that note, and we're going to sign off. And I just want to say that even though we are bombarded with COVID and we are got worries about Russia, and we've got worries about this and that, we will get through, because it's just another blip on the horizon. I remember on one of my earlier shows, I found about a dozen companies that were over 1,000 years old, and they're not particularly big companies. So if they can last 1,000 years, we can get through this blip. Again, thank you for joining me. Have a nice week, and I'll see you next week. Good night.